Did you ever play Mario Kart Online? Like any of them?
Yeah. I played a lot more of the Wii one. I played a little bit of the DS one. And like, so I didn't own a Wii, but I would play it over at one of the places where my mom works. She like worked in people's houses. I would play it over there, and so I would just dominate time trials online. That was like my thing. Um,
Nice. I never played online on the Wii. I could never get like internet working on the Wii, but I've never liked them like on the Switch or even the Wii U.
mm.
Like I've never liked it online. I don't know.
The only times I've played on the Switch, I haven't played like any Mario Kart 8. So the only like Mario Kart 8 I've played has been like in-house PvP. And there's always like one guy who is just like the guy who owns the Switch. So he was just like way better than everyone else. And then like the rest, and like that's it. There, there was a lot of stuff in Mario Kart. So two of my friends really like it, and I'll play with them sometimes. And like they're really really good, and like they're always like first and second, and they're like fighting over it. But I mean they play the roots a lot. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Go like because on the Wii you could play with the GameCube controller. Maybe you can still do this on the Switch. I don't know. I haven't really played it.
You can't play
Um,
with the old GameCube controllers, but you can get the like updated version that works with the Switch. So
oh, I
like a new model that
yeah
hooks up via Bluetooth. Yeah.
yeah. The old school ones. I mean, it was just so much easier to drift, and like I relearned how to drift on the the Wiimote with like the handle and everything, like the yeah driving handle.
Hell yeah.
Um, so like that was okay, but I was not going to relearn it again on like the uh whatever it is, like
Yeah.
the new controls, the like handheld
The
things,
Joy-Cons.
the Joy
Yeah.
Cons. Yeah, I wasn't learning it again. I was like, I'm just not putting the time into that.
It's the same buttons. What do you mean you're not learning again? It's the same. It's always been the triggers. It's the same.
It
Fuck. You
yeah,
can pick
but
up Mario Kart from any year,
it
and
is
it's
so
the same.
different playing it from like a like handheld and uh it was no it was because you had to hold one and two on the Wii, wasn't it? You held one and two on the Wiimote, and then you would
I guess
release the
yeah.
one.
If you weren't using a nunchuck, yeah. If you were just
Yeah.
using the, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's fair. If you were playing like you were playing Little Brother mode, by having the Wiimote only.
How is that little brother mode?
No, because you get the shitty controller when you're the little
Oh,
sibling.
but
You get the shitty
but
setup.
that's the one that goes in the in like the driver's wheel.
Yeah,
That was how I would
okay.
play. It would be like in the wheel.
I mean, that sounds fun. Like, I don't know. I don't like the motion control Wii like that on Mario Kart. I don't like the
Really?
steering. I don't
Oh,
like that.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
even
super
on the
tight.
Switch, I don't.
Is
Yeah,
the I mean, I literally never played it with the nunchuck. Is it just like nunchuck controls direction or
I think the nunchuck shoots items, and then the B on the back of the Wiimote, I think, is drifting. I think.
well, what's
I think it becomes
directional
the two
control on it?
triggers.
Like
Oh, it's the nunchuck.
it
Yeah,
is
the
nunchuck.
nunchuck
That's what I was
controls
asking.
directions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah,
weird, man.
yeah.
I don't know.
But the drifting,
I don't
yeah.
think I'd be into that.
See, that's crazy. That's how every other. I mean,
I mean,
in every iteration, you have two triggers, and one does items and one does the drifting. But I hear you.
I mean with the Wiimote, I don't think I'd be in. Like I don't know. It just weirds me out. Like I just want one thing. I just want to hold one thing. That was the same thing with the Joy Cons. I don't want to hold both of them. Like I just want to hold one thing. And I know
Did
they have
you?
the things that you
Well,
can
because
click it into.
yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Eh,
we've talked about this before. I
too
love the
small.
Joy Cons, like that. You can just like sit like a. Well, you'll like the new one if you ever
I did hear it.
touch a
Yeah.
Switch too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're like
yeah.
not like much bigger, but like enough. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's
They're
like yeah,
they're beefy.
a
Yeah,
console
yeah.
that
The new
humans can enjoy as well as children.
or bitches with like huge spindly hands like me that like, they fit perfectly. They fit perfectly. The new Joy-Cons are like just big enough to be more like a controller, like a regular controller, but they're still smaller.
Yeah.
But I like them less than the old ones. I
Do
like
they
the older
have
ones more.
like a housing that you can snap into that like makes it like a controller? Yeah.
Yeah, they have the same thing that the old ones did. Yeah, which is cool. I mean, that's nice if you're playing something a little bit more, like intense, like a Mario Kart,
Yeah,
and you don't want to just be lolling around on the couch like me.
yeah, I don't know. It's also like I like having it together. Like the further my hands are apart, the less connected like my
The more you
mind
have to
can make
think
up.
to like
Not even the more I have to
the
think,
synapses.
the like
Yeah,
less that I'm like, oh, like both of these hands are like controlling like one object, right? It's just like like these things have nothing to do with each other. I'm patting my head and rubbing rubbing my tummy. Like this means nothing to me anymore.
Yeah. I don't mind it with Mario Kart. I do prefer when they're more like when they're together because I get really engaged.
Yeah.
Like I used to be really good at Mario Kart. In the last 5 years, I've stopped playing it so much, so now I've fallen off a bit. But I used to be the best person anybody knew. And so now, like anytime I'm like playing, I definitely do the gamer lean, and it's really hard to do that if your Joy-Cons are like, one of them's above your head and the other one's like down by your
even like
ankle
holding
or
them
whatever.
like both. It's just like I don't know. That's like weird.
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder to like lock in. But for a game like a Mario Odyssey or like a more casual game or something more exploration based, it's nice to be able to like lounge.
Yeah.
Especially Pro is like lying down. It can be really hard to hold a controller and lie down and look at your TV all at once.
Yeah.
Like I find that
that's
to be
tough,
like can be fatiguing. It's actually the hardest thing anyone's ever done. I should be patted on the back about being able to do it. But just being able to like really lounge and like really like you could put your hands anywhere.
Yeah, most people are
you don't
fake
have to be,
loungers, Any real loungers in the
They
chat?
are. Yeah.
Throw out a
Watchers,
real lounge
if you're a
for
real
us
lounger.
watchers, yeah.
The reason I brought up Mario Kart was apparently there's like beef about the online so the new game, right there, it's all open world and all the tracks are connected in the world.
Yeah.
So you can like drive from track to track. And apparently I'm sure you've seen this discourse or whatever online, but like apparently people were getting these like runs of courses where they have like they're only getting one full lap of the course and like at least one lap where it's like the travel between the old course and the new course. And so I guess Nintendo like nerfed the only way to get around that. And people are pissed off and like, Nintendo's the worst system, the way that they normally do. So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of tough because like when Nintendo ships games, especially something like Mario Kart, right? Like they're essentially shipping like their final product. You're not really expecting to see.
They're not making no changes. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like a mechanics based update. Like it's just not happening.
Yeah.
I did see it though, and like I saw some gameplay, and like it is kind of anticlimactic. Like you do like literally one lap, and then like you're just like on a highway for like a while, and it's like, oh okay, sure, I guess
it's true.
But
I can totally see why people would not prefer it, but
at
the same time, it's like, chill out. Let's calm down.
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem's kind of like twofold, right? Because it's like I think most people can sort of get around that by saying like, oh well, like it makes the game like world feel more cohesive rather than just like one track or like having tracks together that feel cohesive.
Yeah.
Which like I mean the previous games like they were super cool because you could just like I don't know like you're in like the city for one map
world.
and then like like now you're in like Bowser's Castle and it's like oh shit it's like entirely different. But like they do have to sort of keep in mind like oh like oh well like we can go from like the beach but then we go like into the city and then back out to like a water world, right? But I think it's cool that they keep that continuity. But then too like giving players the option of choosing. Because like you could like choose either like your worlds or like the route in between
or random,
random,
right?
And like everyone just votes random because like it doesn't like really matter.
They want the like, 3, right. Well, random was the way to guarantee that you got 3 full laps on the track instead of like and then Nintendo was like, oh, we don't want that, so we're making you do a highway lap even if you choose random, which like
that kind
it's
of
obviously it's an artistic.
It
sucks in a way. I like something I would love is to be able to turn off items in Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Like just like local co-op. Like I don't like I want to play. I don't want to fucking get hit with the blue shell just because I'm in first every time. It's annoying.
I mean, same with like Smash Brothers, right? Like there's the like I don't know.
Yeah.
They have
there's the option there,
right?
but you can't. Right. So, but I understand that they see it as such an integral part of the game and like the artistic vision of the game that it's not something they'll ever remove, and sure, I would prefer it, but like whatever,
Yeah, but I don't know. You're talking about artistic vision in a game, especially in like a racing game. It's like very sort of like, okay, sure.
You don't think that there's artistic vision in those games? I mean, these aren't like gotcha bullshit on
vision, but like at the same time, I feel like a lot of that is focused around aesthetics rather than. I mean,
I don't think so.
Talk about like course layout and whatnot, but like when you're talking about like, oh, like our vision is that like players must ride on the highway in between courses. It's like you're not giving them the options not to like bow out if they want to.
I can,
especially if that's like the wildly popular option. Like I don't know.
The artistic vision in that case is that they want to promote and reinforce the interconnectedness of all of the courses. I'm not saying I agree with this or that I think it's the right artistic vision, but that is totally, I can see that being a vision driven like choice. Same with the items. Like they see items as such an integral piece of
the game. That's the gameplay. Yeah.
And it's not like they're like.
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't have a vision with it, right? But more so that I disagree with it, especially if it's like wildly popular among the players. Like saying like, oh no, actually, like the way that you're playing the game doesn't fit in with how we want you to play it. So like we're removing the option entirely. It's like, I don't know, man.
Is that not any different? How is that different than like the Dark Souls, like not having a difficulty option type thing? Like, isn't that the same? Like lots of game designers or like artists make choices about their art that are alienating because in service of the vision, right?
Yeah, but I mean, those games get like known for
speaking of this movie,
right? Yeah, but like I mean,
we're about to talk about
like you're talking about things that like these games sort of build their brand around that, right? And then like I mean, you could say that Mario Kart sort of built their brand around like having carts with like item boxes and stuff
with Mario in
items,
them,
right? And like Mario characters, right? And like they're trying to incorporate this like connected open world as a part of their brand, but like again, it's not really something that's I mean, hugely. I don't know, the fact that they're turning away from their player base, like such a huge push in their player base, which are like just the online stats showing how many people were like choosing random beforehand, and then they say, oh well, that's not how we wanted it, and getting rid of it. It'd be like if
you can
Elden
still
Ring
choose random,
games, right? But it'd be like if these games had. But you said they fixed it. Does random like let you just do the 3 tracks?
No, but you could still choose random. It's just that you only get. Like you might get it's not totally locked off, but you might still get a lap between 2 worlds. So like you have a chance of getting 3 full laps on the course, or you have a chance of getting like 1 to 2 laps.
Okay. When you said they fixed it, I thought you meant that they got rid of the 3 laps entirely, which is like.
No, from what I understand, it's like still a mix. You can still get the random like chance of it. So
okay. But also,
I hear what you're saying.
To the Elden Ring thing, that would be like if they had the difficulty slider and then removed it afterwards, right? Like, I
guess I don't think so. Just because I think the course correction, no pun intended, like I feel like that's not that crazy of a choice to make, like it's. If they're realizing after the fact that people are not playing the game the way that they're intending it to.
Yeah, but it's not in a game-breaking way. Like, it's in a way that the previous Mario games have all been played, and people are saying, hey, like, this is the way that we want to play it, the way we prefer to play it.
And we hate change. Yeah.
I mean,
and we refuse to adapt.
It's fine to hate a change, right? Like, is that not... Yeah, I mean...
No, I know, but it's more the, First of all, I'm questioning how much this really impacts people who are playing. I think the vast majority of people probably don't even notice a change. Like the people who are playing,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like Nintendo's, if you want to talk about brand and artistic vision, Nintendo's whole thing is that they're so controlling over their artistic vision and brand.
Yeah.
So it's all in service of that, like it or not, I guess. But I get people, like, I understand people not liking it, but the level of outrage seems insane.
Mm-hmm. I get that. Yeah.
We'll see. And then,
no opinion either way, but I mean, I can totally get like disliking a fundamental mechanic change to a game that's like,
I think
existed for so long.
fundamental is. I just feel like fundamental is an over exaggeration on these people's parts. Like it's.
I mean,
not your part.
So
I know.
I
That you have
know.
no
So like in
skin
between
in the game.
courses, like it. I mean, because I've seen some gameplay, it just looks like it's just like a straightaway, right? That like not much
It's
really
not.
happens
It's
on.
not.
You just sort of driving around on
They're
like, a
probably
highway. Like, I don't know.
There's like 1 or 2 highway type like sections like that where it is a straightaway, but most of them are like you're driving through like the outskirts of the course as if it's a world.
Okay.
So like they'll basically so it's not as like game breakingly bad as people are making it out to be. I think a lot of people don't like the open world, but they don't want to say that necessarily because it's a completely isolated game mode that has nothing, you can just ignore entirely. And so now it's like, well, any perception of that encroaching on our precious online play.
Yeah. I've seen people complaining about the like open world aspects too, and it's like, just don't play it. Like, Nintendo's not making you press the buttons to open it up. Like, I don't know what's like that's crazy, man. I don't know. Like,
yeah. It's nuts. The people just they get this like thing in their brain about like Nintendo, and then like, fuck, what's the other one? What's the Assassin's Creed?
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
People get like a crazy hate boner for them too. Not to use like slang from 15 years ago, but like, which I get, like Ubisoft does like way more skeezy shit, like microtransaction, like releasing shit. But like,
and they also
it's reflexive
just
at that
release
point.
the same game over and over again. Like, I mean, not
Yeah.
that I hate it. Like, I enjoyed the first 1 or 2 Assassin's Creed, and then like, I don't know, they're like, now we got one and it's Vikings. Now we got one and it's in Egypt. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, if that's your thing, right? I heard the pirate one was really cool, apparently. And there's many others. So like, I don't know, it's there's a British one too. I was trying to think of them. There's a British one.
There's several. There's multiple British ones because there's one in the. Oh, I'm thinking of the American Revolution one, and then there's
Black Flag. That's the pirate one as well.
The old,
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's fun, I guess, but it is like, end of the day, it's just the same game, like reskinned. Which, that's fine. They play around with different mechanics in each one. I wish that they had sort of maybe a better build up of mechanics, because like they like in the pirate one, the Black Flag, they brought in like boats and stuff, and then they kind of did that again in the Egypt one, and then they were like, people don't like it that much, and they just got rid of it. It's like, okay.
There's ships in Odyssey,
in the
which
one?
is no, Odyssey is the
That's
Greek
the
one.
I thought that was the Egypt one. Odyssey?
Aren't there two? I think there's an Egyptian and
a Greek one,
Maybe. Like ancient Greece.
Yeah.
Because I played Odyssey and I was like, why am I fucking driving a ship? I want to run around. I'm like, what are you making me do this for?
I don't know. They shine the like brightest when there's a lot of optional shit to do, but like the main storyline is just kind of like, follow these guys, kill these guys. Oh, wasn't that fun? You're an assassin. And then like everything else is just like, if you want to do it, go ahead.
The way that I kind of the thesis I came up with when I worked at GameStop with like games that are just re-released and they're basically the same thing every year is the reason people are buying those is because they want to talk about it or play with their friends, and it's just like, this is the new one. Everyone's moving on to the new one. It's not that, I mean, and these people I think know, like FIFA or like back when
COD,
NCAA was that coming out.
Any NHL, NFL, like every year, NBA, 2K, like they're coming out with the same thing every year.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I mean, those are like a little bit more forgivable in my mind because like they change the rosters every year.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, they sort of like spec the players and like put them into the game. It's like, that's kind of neat. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I can't begrudge people for that. Me either. But it's like I the FIFA guys that would come into GameStop were some of the nicer ones. So I'll take it. Like they come in for one game a year. That's all they do. I see them once and then I see them again a year later. Like that's cool. That's cool with me.
It's also, those feel like dad games to me. I don't know. Like
they are,
because like it's easy to like hop in after work and
2K.
be like, throw out some fucking NHL 2025. You're like, ah, man, let me get Gretzky up on the screen, bro. Let me get Gretzky up there. Wayne's
Ricky,
still playing?
Name a second hockey player. Name even just one hockey player.
I don't know. Ask me to name a second hockey team outside of the Flyers. All right, good luck with that, buddy.
You've got the Mighty Ducks.
Is that a real team? Is that a real life team?
No.
You got that team from Air Bud, the team that he played on?
Yeah, there you go. Was he Ice Bud? Did Air Bud do a hockey game?
Yeah, almost. Oh, 100%. Have you not seen that they have an Air Bud for like every sport?
No, I have not seen that they have an Air Bud for every sport.
They have air bud sledding, okay? It's like it's bobsledding, but for Air Bud. Just throwing that out there.
I'm only seeing that there are 5 Air Buds in this. So there's Air Bud Spikes Back, which is volleyball.
There's something wrong with that.
Okay, wait. These are maybe our best. Like, we should make whoever came up with the titles for these the poet laureate. Okay, we've got Air Buds. So Air Bud.
Uh-huh.
Air Bud, Golden Receiver.
That's a good.
Is that
football? Okay, I was gonna say Ultimate Frisbee, but okay, go on.
I don't think they had Ultimate Frisbee in 1998. Maybe they did.
They probably did. Air
Bud World Pup.
Oh, that's good.
Cup. Air Bud Spikes Back, which is the volleyball one, and then we've got Air Bud 7th Inning Fetch.
Ooh, wow! They did bring
That's good shit. That's good shit.
I feel like
they did.
They
sure did.
There's at least 10 of these, though. I could have sworn they got into bobsledding. I
think. Are you thinking of Air Buddies, perhaps? Or like isn't that the spin-off with? Oh yeah. Okay, wait. Hang on.
Is there a whole spin-off thing?
Okay, we've got Air Buddies, Snow Buddies, which must be what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Space Buddies, Santa Buddies, Spooky Buddies, Treasure Buddies, and Super Buddies. We should probably watch all of these for the podcast.
I think we definitely need to watch.
This is our next miniseries. Yeah. They probably at least one of them would be better. No, do not. Nope, not yet.
Air
not
Bud
yet.
August.
Stop. All right. This is We Want to Watch. My name is Lane. That is Ricky.
I want to watch Air Bud. All right.
I bet it's better than this movie. This is a podcast about movies that we want to watch.
At a high bar.
This is the first episode of Jesse July. We are doing a mini-series on the films of Jesse Plemons.
Yeah.
But in successive order of billing order and release. So this week we started with Observe and Report from 2009, directed by Jody Hill. Go ahead.
What made you pick this one in particular, Lane?
Well, let me set the stage a little bit here because I've seen a lot of his movies, and so in trying to branch out.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah.
Plemons.
Didn't know if you meant Mr. Rogen.
No, I haven't seen a lot of. I almost said Joe Rogan, Seth Rogen movies, but okay. So I'm just looking at I'm going to hide short films, TV shows, and documentaries from. Yeah, wait. Can I
guess a percentage real quick?
Yeah, of 40 feature-length released films of his. You're gonna be surprised. 40? He's got 40 total.
You've watched. Can I give you a range instead of a percentage?
Sure.
You've watched between 18 to 24.
Damn, that's crazy. I've seen 19.
Let's go!
You were fucking right on the money.
Yeah, and without this movie, it would have been 18. Let's go! I actually thought it would be closer to the higher end. Anyway, go on. Sorry.
Fully 10 of those movies are like he's a child actor in them. Like he's like 8th or 10th bill child actor. Mm-hmm. These movies that came out in like 1998. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not going out of my way to see, him for 2 scenes in some whatever indie movie. Not really just what I'm interested in. Maybe one day I'll do the completion. But so if you ignore those 10, then there are only, what would that be? 11 that I have not seen now. So then I wanted to pick
to like 70, 60, 70%. I was going to say 60% originally. And when you said 40, I was like 24 is my like upper end then. and I was like, I gotta
Yeah.
find a decent
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
But so, and one of those is the Breaking Bad prequel,
Yeah.
sequel, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, whatever.
El Camino.
So there's not a lot. Yes, El Camino. So all of that to say, there's not a lot to choose from in like good movies that we could see for this podcast that I have not seen before.
Yeah.
So I picked this one because I know it has a reputation. I've heard, actually, even just recently, I heard on another podcast they mentioned this is a complicated movie, and I was kind of like, okay, let's crack into this
movie
one.
To be very complicated. Maybe it is my own lowbrow clown.
I'm choking on my spit.
Maybe I don't have.
I think this movie's got complications.
Hmm.
Tell me more. Tell me more about how you feel about this movie. I just choked on my spit for like 30 seconds also. So tell me more.
It seems like a Seth Rogen film. I don't really like any Seth Rogen films. I haven't really seen one that I really like that much. And this just seems like another one that's not very funny, mostly just crass and rude, and it sort of appeals to a very specific like man-child fantasy. Yeah.
Did you not think that this movie was satirical?
I mean, yeah, but it was like just not too funny with it. I don't know. Like so keep in mind
I don't disagree there.
I'm referencing this to Paul Blart Mall Cop, which I also don't think is a good film, but is at least one that I thought was pretty funny for the time. And like
when you were 8 or whatever when this movie came out.
Yeah. and maybe it's just because it's less crass, but like I still feel like I would laugh more at that like now than I would laugh at this one.
This is interesting. Has there ever been a movie that I liked more than you? Like in the history of this podcast, there can't have been many. Yeah, we got Avatar and we got this.
Yeah.
To be clear, I did not love this movie, but I interpreted this very much, and part of it is I've been poisoned with, preconceived notions from other people, but I've heard it compared to Taxi Driver. So I went in with that mindset. And I don't think that this movie's super successful in what it's doing. I don't think I think it has a hard time, like you're saying, distinguishing itself from other Seth Rogen comedies of the time. Like those like 40-Year-Old Virgin, whatever, those types of movies, Superbad, take your pick, right?
Yeah.
That makes it more difficult for the satirical elements to really like make sense or be effective.
The thing is they're not backdropped by anything, right? Like I feel like there's no substance for them to be like satirical upon, right? So like if it had gone like the Taxi Driver route, right? And like there was anything like more shocking or impactful, I guess the Flasher is like their version of him saving Jodie Foster, right? Like I guess that's the
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you say that there isn't substance, sure. I'm not saying like I rated this movie 3 stars out of 5. That's not great.
Surprising.
But
that's actually like higher than you've rated movies that I think are way better than this. But yeah.
I do think that this movie has like a really brilliant kernel of a premise, but it's just that the execution is bad.
Yeah.
So, but like I did laugh out loud at a few parts of this. There were parts of this movie that made me laugh out loud.
Sort of conspiratorially. I did too. Like, yeah, there are parts of it that are funny.
No.
Like, for me at least, a lot of the movie just falls
Ricky,
flat.
put the pitchfork down, okay?
Yeah,
we are not
right.
hoeing. We are not
I'm
fucking pitching any hay. I thought this movie wasn't a complete wasted landscape of a movie. And like, I do think Seth Rogen does something really ambitious here in playing such a fucking unlikable character with basically no redeeming qualities. I do think that there's something. I think this movie's very edgy, but not. It gets its edginess mixed up, I guess. Like it can't decide if it wants to be, kind of like, oh, isn't it fucked up that this, that, and the other thing happens, and oh, we're poking fun at cops and like this type of guy who wants to be a cop. Like, I feel like it gets its wires crossed or its targets even crossed. And so that's why it isn't as effective as it could be. But I do think there's something like really interesting here. I don't know.
It also, so just for the cop thing, it does that in such a cruel manner, right? And it's like, again, like, yeah, that's fine. It's just the thing is the guy's whole life is a joke, right? Like, there's no part of it that's not played for a laugh, and like that's where it just kind of cheapens it for me, right? Where it's like, all right, well, like, like why do I give a shit then? Like, I don't know, and also that at the end of the movie, there's no repercussions at all. He's like welcomed back, and it's like, oh,
which is kind of the end of Taxi Driver. Right? Taxi Driver, I mean, he's like shown still being paranoid. This movie doesn't necessarily stick the landing in the same way, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's the same arc. Like, he's still like an acclaimed hero for doing something horrifically violent just because he's violent.
Right, you know? Right. I'd say sure it's the same arc, but like, so in Taxi Driver, one of the big scenes, at least that stands out to me, is where he goes up to the cop and he's got the guns on him and stuff, right? And he's like, essentially like kind of, he's like, oh, like, what would you do if somebody like, you know, actually like pulled out, you know, something right here?
Right.
He'd be like, oh, like I'd kill him or something to that degree, whatever, right? And
right.
like
he tries to incite a confrontation.
Right. And then like he like very quickly realizes, wait, I'm out of my depth here, right? Like I shouldn't be in these waters. I got to go back to my little pond. You know, shoot a guy who's you know, trying to, you know, molest a kid, and then like, you know, also I'm in love with the kid too. I don't know, whatever. Which this movie just like doesn't have any of, because instead they have him fight off old boy style 40 fucking cops in the middle of a mall, and he also gets the shit beat out of him, and just nothing comes of that at all. It just doesn't matter, like, in the slightest.
Yeah, I do think that that piece is a miss. I would have liked to see his relationship with Ray Liotta become a little bit more, I don't know, like just more developed in that way. Because like you're saying, he should have more of a combative or confrontational relationship that isn't just like, I'm just going to John Wick a bunch of cops in the mall, right?
And that scene, I think, had a lot of potential, because I was like, oh shit, like he's doing suicide by cop right here. I'm like, that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, but then
and like,
that's not what happens.
Yeah. Like if he had shot Ray Liotta there, even, that'd be like more satisfying for me.
I was sure that it was going to end up being a dream sequence. But then when obviously he started to get punched, like, and started to get taken down, I was like, oh, I guess it's not a dream sequence. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just interested. Like, I do think that this is just like a very aggressive and alienating type of movie to make. And I don't mean that in just like an edgy, like, we're, you know, gonna whatever, I'm not gonna make a joke about Ensandi, but just like a very, like, you know, in your face type of movie. And it does, I think it looks like shit, which doesn't help. Like, it looks really bad. It has that like early 2000s, whatever, like comedy, you know, studio comedy look. So it is visually indistinguishable from other movies of the time, which just doesn't, you know, makes it way harder to separate it. Yeah.
It also follows a lot of the same, or at least the resolution follows the same, like, resolved plot lines as any, like, comedy movie of the 2000s, where it's like, oh,
yeah, gets a girl, does something heroic.
He gets the girl who was previously sidelined by him for like the entire movie, right? Gets the job back, but like now he is just happier, and he's you know, like, he's seen the outside world, he's come back, he'd gone through apotheosis, you know, he'd come back, he'd return, you know, the second crossing of the threshold, but now it's back home, yada yada. Yeah, great, cool.
Okay, Campbell, go off, Joseph.
Yeah. You want to see my other 999 faces?
Yes, please. Yeah. Go on, we got time.
They're back home. Sorry, give me a minute. I'll have to go find them. It's got to be a real journey before
I have to do apotheosis here. Yeah. I hear you. I do think, like I said, the ending being kind of played on this like somewhat happy whatever kind of note is a miss, because, right, not to keep coming back to Taxi Driver, but I'm just so excited that there's a movie we've both seen that we can talk about in depth here, other than like the one we're talking about. You know, the end of that movie, obviously a classic of him, like, looking back in the rearview mirror and like having this little mini freak out for just like the very end of the movie, just, you know, reinforces like, oh yeah, he's still paranoid. He's still like, this is not over for this character. Like, he's going to continue to do fucked up shit. This movie, obviously that's all still there, but it's played like a triumph. It's not played like a, like a ominous, portent for what's to come.
Right.
And that's a miss. Like I said though, I find this is such a, especially like in 2009 to make an anti-cop a somewhat even just as much
Right.
as this is.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's pretty, ballsy and like,
Transgressive. Yeah.
yeah,
Against
yeah,
norms,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, in that regard, I'd agree with you, yeah. And, like, it definitely seems like it's sort of, like, I don't know, surprising for, like, Seth Rogen, whose, like, primary
Right.
consumers are, like, very adjacent to this type of
Bros.
guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which the movie makes fun of directly. But, yeah, I don't know. Again, it's just, I don't know. I just
I
don't think there's like any like if the character like you mentioned completely hateable, nothing redeeming. If there's like anything redeeming
yeah.
about him at all,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and the movie plays him as if he's supposed to be a sympathetic guy, which I think could be like, I don't want to put things on this movie that it isn't, but if this had been just like a little bit more elegant with the satire in, playing this like Judd Apatow, Seth Rogen, whatever style of comedy of like, those protagonists in those movies are also just as reprehensible in a lot of these ways. Maybe not quite as violent, but like, they suck. But this movie, it's like, yeah, are you going to sympathize with this guy who is relatively indistinguishable from these other protagonists, but like is the lead of this movie? Are you going to sympathize with him or not? I think if this movie had made just like a better choice of distinguishing, I think it could have been such a smart riff or satire of like those movies, but it muddies the waters too much.
Yeah, I mean, also like you could say that this movie is like a satirization of like all early 2000s movies, right?
Right. All those or
but
not cop movies, but comedies.
Well, just comedy, yeah, that like style of comedy in general, and like that's why it like has the same sort of plot beats. That's why it has the same sort of resolution, and that's also why he's completely reprehensible, and there's nothing there behind him
redeeming.
Because all of those movies, there's like like he's got a kid, he's yada yada, like secretly he loves taking care of turtles. Like there's always like something that like it's like see, but like everyone has a little good
he's
inside.
Normal.
And this movie's like, nah, he's just a piece of shit. Kind of run of the mill. It's what you'd expect.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, dick joke. Like, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I do want to talk about Seth Rogen in this. I have nothing for those movies. I know we've talked about this, like that, like style of, or maybe we haven't. Shout out to, I feel like one of my Monster of the Week groups I've talked about this with. That style of poster is just like, I won't even click on it. Like the like Superbad or I'm trying to think of like other 40-Year-Old Virgin, This Is the End, Step Brothers, like any of those, like it's just those two comedy guys and they're making a face and they're on like a a JCPenney background. Like I have no interest in clicking it. But and I think I've said this on this show before. Seth Rogen, like, I think he put in such a crazy good performance in the Steven Spielberg movie that came out a few years ago. I know this is insane to say, but Steven Spielberg I feel like I can hear Christopher laughing from the other room because I'm always on this soapbox. But Spielberg put out a movie called The Fabelmans, which is like kind of like a retelling-ish of his adolescence, like growing up Spielberg's. And Rogen plays, spoilers, the like other man in his parents' relationship.
Oh, shit.
So like the one that his mom cheats on.
Yeah.
And Rogen does he's playing like a character, like he's still like playing a funny guy, but he's not playing like Seth Rogen funny. Mm-hmm. He brings such a like warmth and sensitivity and charisma to it that you're just like, where the fuck has this been for the last 2 decades of your career? I haven't seen, there's another movie of his, like an indie kind of like dramedy or drama that he's in that I have not seen, but people really like him in. I think in this movie he is doing something. Like he's not just doing Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
And that intrigues me too. I think he's actually really good in this. He does this like this laugh, this like totally dead-eyed laugh that like you see a classic laugher. People know what he sounds like and looks like when he laughs. But in this, he's like he manages to laugh.
He's a guffaw. Yeah,
he is. Yeah, yeah. But in this, he like laughs without moving anything in his face. Even his mouth doesn't really move, and it's like so dead-eyed. I don't know. It's kind of an impressive thing, I think.
Some of the like some of the laughs that I did get from this movie were from like him doing that, specifically with the therapist. That scene had me like cracking up. That because he does like the full rant, and she's like, "Okay, just gonna note that down. I think we're good to go." And he goes, great," and then starts with like the finger guns at her, and then like the finger shotgun and stuff, like that sort of stuff. That's kind of funny. That's pretty good. I again
another thing I feel. No, go ahead. No, please.
Just in terms of like the I wish there were like consequences or like any sort of like cause and effect to the actions that occur in the movie. Just like anything with the dude that like flees to Mexico, or anything with the drug dealers that he kills, supposedly, but like we see him beat the shit out of him. Supposedly he kills them off screen. Or anything with the kids that they beat up in the fucking parking lot. Like, there's a lot of, like, funny stuff that they could have done at the end of the movie where, like, he has essentially the whole town, like, chasing him around. And he goes, "Oh, but, like, I fucking caught the guy." And they're like, "We're not after him, we're after you." Like, and, like...
Yeah.
Him bringing, like, I don't know, him bringing the fucking pervert to... the police station, every cop is hanging out outside, which also, like, obviously, like, very, like, that's just too on the nose satire, right? They're all standing around doing, like, God knows nothing, right?
Just watching him come in,
and, like, the dude is, like, openly bleeding out as these, like, Seth Rogen's, like, dragging him along, and, like, all the cops are just like, "Yeah, good job, hey, yeah, hell yeah," when like they like just got done beating the shit out of him, assumedly a day or two ago, it's like, all right, I don't know, man. It's just so like there's just nothing, man. I don't know. It's like, all right, cool.
There's no consequences, like you said. It's very like it's easy to so. I often find myself reading a movie in a way that I know was not intended. You know, like I know. And I think that's an easy thing to do, especially if you're not talking about a movie on a podcast. Mm-hmm. Like if you're just watching a movie, you're like, "Oh, I took this away from it." Even if there might not be even if that's like unlikely, sometimes it can be fun to watch a movie that way. And so I feel like you could, and I'm not saying I think this, you could read this in that satirical way of like, a guy who's like this is going to have no consequences. They cover themselves up. Again, I don't think that that's true. I think this is a little too sloppy for that to be the case. But there are a lot of like things, and this is with any satire. I think you can make the argument either way, especially when a satire is a little harder to distinguish. You can kind of say like, well, is it or isn't it part of the satire? Was this intentional or is it not? My big problem with this was basically like, are you supposed to laugh at him or are you supposed to laugh at what he does? Because those are two different things. If you're supposed to find like the things he's doing, like that's really funny. Like, wow, it's great that he's like beating the shit out of some kids in the parking lot. Like versus like you find him to be pathetic,
right?
Like which. And then but you're still kind of putting him in this sympathetic hero role.
I think they
especially
just
at the
linger
end
on the former a bit too much for my taste, right?
Yeah, agreed.
Where it's just,
agreed. Yeah,
I mean it's super indulgent in like a very Seth Rogen style, right? Of like, like, isn't it funny how like poop, shit, fart, dicks, ass, I'm beating the shit out of this kid in the parking lot. It's like cool. When like the pitiable side is like way funnier. I don't know, when he rolls up to the car because he saw, who was it, Brandy?
Yeah. Well, he's calling her by the wrong name in that scene, which is really Ray Liotta is when they're having sex. He's like calling her Mandy, but her name is Brandy. Yeah.
when he like rocks up and like sees her, and especially because it comes right after the scene where he essentially rapes her, and then like even he like in the middle of that is sort of like he sort of like stops because he's like, I don't know, like you can see he's like
Wait,
doubting,
you're
like,
asleep.
am I doing the right thing here? Like, is she asleep? Like, is she drugged up or something? And she goes, why'd you stop? And he's like, all right, well, fuck it. And it's like seeing the difference between the two is so hilarious. And then like just him like the cut afterward, and like they don't notice him at fucking all. Like, he just sort of like backs away from the window, and then he's sitting on the curb.
Yeah,
like that's funny. That's like good stuff. And like he's very pitiable. He's, I don't know, super huge loser, very funny, but like they just don't do that as much as they do the like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go on a bender with my coworker who's like stealing from the mall, and just, you know, fuck shit up for like a 20-minute montage, and that's most of the movie. Like, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The way that the other characters in this movie are not fleshed out is, I think, part of the damning of this. You know, the Ray Liotta character, which love to see him. You know, great to see him in this movie. Rest in peace, King.
Good to see.
Yeah. That's like, that could be so interesting. Like, he could have like a shred of empathy for him, but he really doesn't. You know, he tries to do the right thing just like because he feels compelled to, but not because he really cares. But he's not. I mean, that's like the depth of his character. I mean, same with Anna Faris.
The beginning of the movie was a lot more interesting, like with Ray Liotta there, and like when he's like in and around the mall, and like when he drives him out to where the drug dealers were. Like, a lot of that stuff is like a lot funnier because there is like a self-insert from the audience being there and being like, dude, like, I fucking hate you. Like, I hate, like, Seth Rogen, I hate you as a human being. Like, you are horrible. Get off of my screen. But like, my screen is my eyes in real life. Like, get out of here. And like, it's like, that's funny. That's cool. And then it's just like, he disappears. And like,
Most of the laughs definitely came in the beginning. Like when when he first sees Anna Faris has like had the first encounter with the Flasher, and she's like crying, she's sitting down, and he like runs up and he's like, perimeter, and he like pulls out a bunch of cones and sets them down, like the kind of like riffing on, you know, those types of like overreactions or like taking it so seriously. Like, that's what people love about Paul Blart, right?
That's what I was going to say. That's very Paul Blart, right? And like those are the things where it's almost like you have to understand a lot of like the mindset behind it, and like you have to be sort of sympathetic towards that type of person in order to make this. And like that sort of humor is like, it's like, all right, like, fine, sure, like it maybe doesn't show an appreciation for like that specific type of person, like the type of person who wants to be a cop, maybe even has noble intentions for it, but like just cannot stop fucking up. They just simply cannot. And like, so Paul Blart has, like, they take, like, the, oh, this guy has very noble intentions route. And this movie takes the, oh, like, he's just a shithead who wants power route, right? And it's like, all right, like, both are fine, but, like, I'm always going to appreciate, and, I mean, maybe not always, maybe there are, like, mean-spirited movies that I enjoy, but, at least for the ones that I can bring to mind, I always prefer, like, the kind-hearted route, and, like, they're just funnier, better movies to me, overall.
Yeah, well, and the movie wants to have it both ways with the like mental illness acknowledgement. Again, it's like, well, are we empathizing or like sympathizing with this guy and his mental illness struggles? Like, he talks about how he used to wake up with nosebleeds in the middle of the field with his shoes on or something, you know, like having these violent nightmares. You know, he's bipolar,
but that's all played
right?
For laughs, right? Like, none of it is taken seriously.
Right, that's what I mean. So that's where it's like, so I'm not supposed to sympathize with this guy, but
But I don't know, like the big like the what is it? The monologue there is like like played for laughs in the way that he's so deadpan with it, and like he keeps going and going. But to me, the funniest part of, I mean, I think overall the funniest part of the scene is definitely the finger guns and then the shotgun at the end. Like, that's just like way funnier than like.
Oh, like, but I mean, he mentions it early.
He starts with that.
He mentions, like...
He says, like, yeah, like,
no.
oh, like, he says it earlier in the film?
Yeah, when he's talking to the his like the girl with the cast,
Yeah.
he mentions it like that he's been trying to do this his whole life, and he's got this like heavy weight on his shoulders and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they set it up early, that he's like whatever insane. But
I mean, they set up a few times in the film the
yeah,
almost like secret genius trope, right? The like, oh, like I can see what needs to be done, and I mean, maybe in bad taste, a lot of it seems like the like horror stories that you see out of ChatGPT of people being like typing in, they're like, oh, like I think I'm a part of the five rings, I need to bring about the ascension through, I don't know, collectivism, yada yada, whatever.
And ChatGPT will be like, you're a mystic, you should go off your meds. Right.
Yeah. And it seems like your meds are making your mission ineffectual. Perhaps you should stop taking them and make sure that you need to focus your mind. In order to focus your mind, isolate yourself from others and stay inside. And like it's just like a bunch of shit like that. It's like, all right, well,
I might cut this. Lane, do not forget to cut this.
Hell payment!
Yeah, it all starts with people putting their fucking emails in there, man. I sound like a Luddite, but I can't. Anyway. I have nothing for the Anna Faris character. I mean, she's got nothing. She tries her best.
The whole movie has nothing. There's nothing here, Lane. Anyway.
I think there's stuff here. There's stuff here,
try,
but
know,
it's
but
just
still,
not. It's not executed well. I think Anna Faris also puts in a good performance for giving a character that is just completely loathsome and like a horrible stereotype. She does have some like interiority to it that it wouldn't necessarily have. She's I think a talented performer, so
on
she brings
date,
like a
there's a couple of funny throwaway lines in there. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of the earlier movie is much funnier than like the later bits, right?
Yeah.
When she takes the like clonazepam or whatever,
Klonopin, yeah.
Pretty funny. Also, we never see him get back on his meds. That would have been something that I would have felt like I would have been like, oh, okay, like it's all resolved.
Yeah, I do feel like this movie, like the date rape joke, is where it goes off the rails. Like I feel like that's the key point in the movie where it's like, okay, everything becomes a lot less funny after that.
Yeah.
And it's a good symbol of how this movie can't get its target right of like what it's satirizing. Right. So
I feel like a lot of that. I mean, at least to me, that was just the setup for the joke with Ray Liotta later. And then and then we get to see him freak out and like fucking break the glass, whatever. Like he just gets to be a man child. And again, like you said earlier, I think you made like a very clear or succinct point with the like, are you laughing at him or at the stuff he's doing?
Yeah. That I can excuse assault and sexual harassment when I'm driving around with Michael Pena in the, with my coworker, but I draw the line at property crime when he's stealing, that's what, or, is when it's not okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's inconsistent in that way. The whole time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that I actually saw as like a for him, a consistent characterization there, because it's like, oh yeah, like of course he doesn't give a shit because he doesn't see her as like a person, right? He's just like,
But why is he okay? But why is he not okay with the Flasher then?
Because that's his territory. The mall is like his, right?
Sure, but then sure. But now you're defending the movie in a way that, like, how do we know this movie's not just inconsistent?
I mean, that's true.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, we could interpret it.
I think, at least my reading of it was that, like, like it is a satirization of like that type of guy, and like that type of guy does get very defensive about like what is theirs. Essentially, it's like a dragon like hoarding over their wealth. Like that's what he is with the mall, right? And that's why he's like, oh, like she's like the prettiest girl in the mall, maybe the whole world. But it's also why,
right?
Like he never goes outside. Or well, I mean, I guess he does go outside later on in the film. But there's like many chances to catch the Flasher, like in the beginning of the film, because they're like he's right outside, like we know like that what he's been doing, and they're like, well, all right, that sucks. And then it's not until he flashes inside of the mall that he gets caught. And it's like...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. It does take him encroaching fully on his territory in that way.
Right. I mean, same thing with the cops. That's why he fights the one cop. It's why he fights all the cops. And, like, even him, like, going into, like, Ray Liotta's territory, I guess I'll say, by, like, following him into the cop car. Like, Liotta's like, all right, well, I know how to deal with this motherfucker. He just drops him off in the middle of the hood and leaves, right?
Which is really funny. Yeah,
which
until it becomes
really
not funny.
Funny scene, yeah. Because we get to laugh at the guy, like, him, like, we get to see him outside of his territory. He's on the ground, you know, he's, like, crying for his life. Because, like, yeah, like, that's how he really would be. And then, he gets himself out of it because he's the character that we're following in this film. So he's not going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do without the racism. There's quite a bit of little early 2000s racism in this movie.
So, again, another thing I think Paul Blart, Mall Cop, does better. His... ethnic friend being like just a horrible person and the miscreant person who's like stolen, and then the Aziz Ansari, the like only other like real ethnic person in the film, is just like
the two security guards, the two Asian guys,
they don't really do anything, though.
Yeah,
they're just there to be thing one and thing two and finish each other's lines. It's like, okay, cool, fine, good bit characters, I guess.
Yeah. It's funny because Michael Pena was the actor who plays what's that character's name? Dennis, the drug using whatever thief.
Yeah,
he's like a super well acclaimed actor. Like right before this, not long before this, he was in Crash, that movie, the Best Picture winner that beat Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, the bad one. He's like one of the main guys in that. He got really a lot of acclaim for that movie. So. It's just funny that, like, a few years later, he's making this shit.
Yeah, I know.
We should talk about Plemons, since this is the inciting reason for this episode.
I think Plemons would have been better.
I was so relieved.
Lead man.
That's true. Yeah, he probably would have. Although, you kind of need the, like, Rogen...
likability.
Affability. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. If they were going for the Taxi Drive vibe, if they had done like Jesse Plemons in the lead role, and they had like maybe leaned a little bit more on the darker aspects of some themes later on in the film, I feel like it would have been, I don't know, would have been funny to me.
I mean, I think this movie benefits if it's made 10 years earlier or later.
Yeah.
Like, I think if this movie was made in 1999 or 2019, it would have been better. But are you saying that you think that those two, that De Niro and Plemons, have the same, like, on-screen persona? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying that this character in particular, the,
okay,
the mall cop, like, the off-duty mall cop, it fits Plemons to a T.
I see.
That's, like...
Have you seen
a lot of the characters
Game Night?
That he's played? Not yet. That did look really fun. I did want to watch it.
You should watch that. I enjoyed it. It was a pretty good, like, I was surprised by how good of a studio comedy it is. I did have fun with it. But he's playing, I don't know if he's playing a cop or a security guard neighbor. So he's like the neighbor of the main couple, and he's like very prim and proper, and you know, kind of like a mall cop-esque type character, and he plays it well.
I've definitely made that comparison to him before, like
he plays a lot of cops, like, in movies.
Mall cop, yeah. It's also just the fact that he plays like the character lacking empathy very well, like the psychopathic character lacking empathy, and like cops sort of you kind of have to have a low barrier for or a little bit of that high barrier for empathy, I guess, to be a cop. So
yeah, it's true. That's true. I was so relieved he wasn't the Flasher. I was ready for it. When I read the premise of this movie, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to like psychologically.
I didn't read the premise. I figured he wasn't it. I thought it would be the director. And the one scene where he like shows the director like the picture of like the dick, and he's like, oh, like I got evidence here. I thought the director was going to be like, oh, like give me that because I need to give it to the cops. Yada,
Where'd you get that?
Yeah, because he's like trying to hide something. And now, I don't know.
Yeah.
again, like, I don't think the movie pulls very many clever things. Like, yeah, it's sort of like a baseline satire of like one type of guy.
Yeah.
But like they just don't follow through with it at all. They like, I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't even call it a satire, really. I mean, like it becomes so muddled. I think it's what it's going for, but it's not effective. At what point does it just become the thing that it's satirizing?
Right. You're right. Yeah.
So, but I just think that there's something there. I don't know. I would be interested to rewatch this. I know that's an insane thing to say. And just like knowing where it goes and kind of like reading it again or like reading through it again. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard because, right, we've talked before about like grade the movie on the curve of like what it's trying to go for. And so of course this is missing that mark, but it is like, you also want to like, you do want to grade it on the curve of like, well, it tried for this ambitious thing. And like, it, you know, even if the execution was bad, you want to give it credit for that.
What it was going for is ambitious in terms of like, oh, at the time, this was like a crazy statement to be making through like this media, right?
Sure.
But like, it's not very ambitious to pull off, right? Like, it doesn't seem like it should have difficulty in like creating a character like that. And so the fact that it does makes you just go, okay, well, then like they just didn't really like know what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think, I mean, I can't think of another studio comedy like this, like a big name comedy that is making a satire or like making fun of in this way of like a cop, like, and not just being like, wow, cops are bumbling idiots, but like, oh, cops are like whatever, like psychopathic,
or
like
low-key
bloodthirsty
psychopathic losers who like never got out of their high school phase. Yeah. I mean, but I feel like that's such like that's well-trodden ground. Like
is it like outside of Twitter? Like, is it?
I don't know. I feel like most people. Well, I don't know. I feel like
I don't think most people feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
No, I don't think. I don't think so. I think that there's a reason that this movie is super unheard of and no one has touched something like this since.
Maybe. Just didn't hit the mark for me.
Why are you so combative today?
No, I just didn't like the movie that much, Lane. Like,
it's not just that. All right. Is there anything else we want to say, I guess, about Observe and Report, since you hate fun and don't want to podcast with me anymore?
We can keep talking about it. What
no. It's you're a hater and you don't want to. It's fine. I understand.
I think his mom's character was maybe not the most fleshed out, but like perfectly like that they do like in order to like
it's a good satire
like that. Spot on. That's perfect. Yeah. I mean, like the fact that he lives with his mom, like, all right, sure, like kind of basic, whatever.
Low hanging fruit. Yeah.
But it's the like her hitting on like his coworkers and then being like, you know, I used to sleep with all of his friends in high school, like that sort of shit. And like it's there's like something like that in every scene, and like you get to see how dysfunctional they are as like mother and child. The scene where she like essentially where she literally does say like, oh yeah, your daddy left because of your problems. It's all your fault.
Right, well, because he's like, did dad leave because of me? And she's like, yeah. Have a good night. And just gets up and walks away.
And it's like every conversation with them is like essentially that, and it's hilarious. That's great stuff. And like,
well, because it is playing on like a well-known trope of like mom origin story, like this is why I'm troubled, like all of those types of things. So but then it doesn't stick the landing elsewhere.
It doesn't. It really doesn't, Lane. How crazy is that?
It's not like I'm jerking off over this movie. I just think it's interesting. I think that some of the most interesting episodes we have are the ones where they're like misfires that have something interesting about them.
So, and
like
Showgirls,
I think
we talked about it. I mean, I think we discussed the interesting stuff in it. Do you think there's more?
It's been an hour, and we talked about Mario Kart for 20 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Then I brought up the mom. What else? What other interesting bits were there in this film for you, Lane?
We don't have to get into it.
No,
it's fine.
No.
It's
Let's get into it.
I can tell that you're not.
I want to get into it.
It's fine.
I want to get into it.
I was thinking we should have some sort of like ranking system of the Plemons appearances across these movies. So we've seen. So this is our fourth. So we've done Kinds of Kindness, Civil War, and Power of the Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Observe and Report. Now, he's like a baby in this. He can't be 18 or 19 years old. Like he looks, and believe it or not, he is really looking like he works at a mall in 2009. Like they have his hair,
oh yeah,
you know, the higher the hair, the closer to God. Like,
yeah.
I swear it gets bigger in every scene.
Oh no, I 100% believed he was a mall worker here. Yeah.
So I mean,
and you know what?
He's a cutie patootie in this movie. But,
I will say everyone in this movie feels like they work in a mall. Yeah, like spot on. Everyone, a lot of the mall workers,
they do.
They feel like they work in a mall. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but to talk about his performance more, you know, obviously he only has like 10 lines in this whole thing, but I feel like he does easily bring the like dead behind the eyes, like lack of empathy thing that you're talking about that he's so good at. Like even just in this little role where he's like, you're kind of like, is this guy also crazy? Yeah. Like Seth Rogen, or is he just like roped into it because he's got nothing better to do and he's a kid? Or
when he jumps on the cops when they're like all like surrounding Rogen, and like he like jumps on him and it essentially just like does a strike, right, and like bowls him over. Like that could play at your local bowling alley after you get a strike. It's just like Plemons like jumping onto all the cops.
There we go.
That was funny. I like the whole like old boy-esque scene. I thought that whole thing was like a funny sequence. As much as I don't think it fit with the film, but I thought it was funny. Yeah.
You're talking about because of the hallway in Old Boy.
Yes,
that's what.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's because it's many characters coming from one side of the screen to the
fighting
other,
the one
being all sort of being dispatched quickly by one character wielding a single weapon, just smacking him.
Interesting.
I don't think it was choreographed as well, and I
No, no.
like obviously not, right? But I feel like that's kind of what they were going for.
I can see that. Yeah. When he's like, you didn't bring enough pigs to fight me, and all the cops like pull out their batons. That's the thing that that gets them. I wish the movies surrounding some of these jokes were better.
I do too, Lane. I do too. But when his friend drives the car,
why are you saying it like that? I don't love this movie. I'm just saying it's fine. You're insane. Why are you trying to pick a fight?
I'm not.
Why are you trying to pick a fight right now? You are.
Okay.
Oh my God.
When his what is it? His like only friend in the film, I keep forgetting the guy's Dennis. When he's driving the car out, and we get like the like scene of like you're like in the car like driving it around the mall and like driving it out. I don't know if that's been done before, but like the Simpsons definitely have like because it was like not rotoscope, but they have a scene that's like almost frame for frame with that, if I'm remembering it properly. Maybe I'm not. But yeah, watching it was super cool. That was probably the best shot scene in the film in my eyes. And like, do they do the same thing in? No.
Couldn't tell you.
Do the Blues Brothers do that in any of their movies?
Well, they have one movie.
Oh, is it just the Blues Brothers band? Is that their one movie?
What are you? It's just the Blues Brothers. What scene are you talking about specifically? When they're in the car? When he's driving the car out of the mall. He's like driving it through the mall, and then he like drives it through the front doors. Oh. Yeah, I mean the Blues Brothers, like the big chase scene is like starts in a mall. So or like goes through or like the early
I was trying I wasn't sure if it did or if that was another chase scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean I feel like also like I feel like this movie maybe pays a lot of like little homages like that. But that scene actually like looked surprisingly good. And it was kind of fun.
Yeah. This movie does, it looks like it's shot in a mall. Derogatory. Yeah. I mean,
with like
there
one
is
of the
no
mall
interesting
that you like pick up from like the kiosks that they have. Yeah. Costs $400 and it's got like 12 pixels on it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I would like to see, like, I looked at this director's filmography because he also wrote it. Go ahead.
Who was this director?
His name's Jody Hill. He
Okay.
hasn't done, I guarantee, any other movie that you've heard of. He did The Fist Way with Danny McBride, The Legend of a White-tailed Deer Hunter with Josh Brolin, but that's like a tiny movie. Yeah, I don't think this guy has done much, but he is a producer on a bunch of stuff. So also like comedies.
When I saw Jody Hill, I thought this was like,
you thought I was a woman.
I thought it was a woman, and B, I thought it was Jonah Hill's mom, and I was like, oh, okay, so like this was like Rogen, like nepo babying his way in because like he was friends with Jonah Hill, and now Jody Hill is directing for him.
Are Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill friends? I guess so.
I thought
right?
they were in like movies and stuff together. Yeah,
maybe they're like the same kind of type in a way.
They are. Rogen feels more pure to me. I feel like
yeah, Rogen's like more likable. Jonah Hill's more of a dick.
Yeah, some part of me wants to say that, hey, Jonah Hill maybe would have been a better pick for this movie just because he's so easy to hate. Like, I would have loved to hate him as the lead in this film. And B,
valid.
I feel like the two of them together, like, I feel like Rogen would just hate Jonah Hill. And maybe that's just
it's possible
based off of their characters and stuff, because I don't really know much about them as actors, but yeah.
I mean, I do think that Seth Rogen has distanced himself from a bunch of these guys because, like, James Franco, like, he was his, like, a creative collaborator with him for so long, and obviously Franco's, like, he hasn't been fucking canceled, but whatever. He's allegational. So, I think Seth Rogen, a little spinelessly, I think, kind of likes to, like, dodge and weave through some of those conversations.
Just away from those people, and then goes,
and I
want to
think
go smoke weed instead of talking about this, or whatever. I don't know.
And Jonah Hill, I think, has also had some weird ass behavior. So whatever. But I don't know. It'd be interesting. I like to think of someone else at this time period who could have played this character. I don't. Yeah. Rogen feels right. It's just that the execution around him is just not good. No. I don't know. I feel like maybe a different director than writer, might have been a benefit here. Like having a slightly different artistic vision.
The thing
bring
is,
it back
like,
to that
like
phrase.
we talked about before, like there's a few points where it's like, okay, like they definitely like kind of nailed this. Like they got, like there's like a couple diamonds in the rough where it's like, yep, like spot on. And like, I mean, you can't really tell like who it's coming from, whether it's like director, writer, like who's really, got that on lock. But yeah, could have used something.
Do you have anything else you want to say about Observe and Report from 2009?
No, I think I've reported all that I observed. Do you have anything else to say, Lane? Anything at all?
Why are you like this?
Anything?
I'm going to come over and give you
Lane,
a swirly.
Lane, I just want to know anything at all. Do you want $1.60 coffee, Lane, for free? I'll get to you from the mall.
No, thank you. From Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
I'm good. Looking forward to a movie with more Plemons in it.
Hell yeah. When Life Gives You Plemons.
Is that the miniseries name? Is it like Jesse July : When Life Gives You Plemons?
We could just do Make Plemonade. Like, you could do one or the other, right? Would be a perfect tagline.
That could be,
yeah.
That would be good. Okay, next is another. We're continuing for Jesse July. So the next one I think is you're gonna have a lot more. I won't say fun with, but I think you'll like this movie more. This is a movie I have seen before. This is a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. So the maker of Boogie Nights. Yeah. So this is The Master from 2012. This is a very well acclaimed movie. I did not just care for it the first time around, but I think I kind of was a little too harsh on it. I think I wasn't in the right headspace. I'm going to try and give it a more empathetic watch this time. So, but yeah,
cool.
We shall see. I think you'll like it.
Okay.
I think this movie will scratch a certain itch for you. And now that we've seen a PTA movie together, I'm hopeful that, I can come in again with a little bit more kind eyes on this one.
Yeah. Cool. Sweet.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Do you want to No, you're not. You hate podcasting. It's apparent from anybody who's listening to this show.
I
You're
feel
laughing, but you're not denying it.
I feel like one of us is being combative here, Lane.
You're the one who's like, yep, it's bad, Lane. Isn't it bad? It kind of sucks, huh?
Well, yeah, because if you're going to defend the film and then go, yeah, this part kind of sucks, I'm going to be like, yeah, it did, didn't it? Like,
a film can have good and bad parts. I know this is radical thinking.
And I'm going to reinforce the bits that were bad.
Oh my god. Okay. If you had to have rated this movie on a scale of, 0 to 5 stars, what would you have given it?
Like 2.5, maybe a 3.
So what the fuck? It's the same rating I gave it, you clown. All right, I'm ending with Mario Kart music. Bye. Bye. See you next week. Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.